you need a variety of different applications and different methods to get the students really engaged. So one of the methods that I tend to use is a site called Nearpod, and it's a browser-based student interaction interface where the students will be able to respond to questions that I post up and work in small groups and then actually report back out the findings of that small group.
The audience response system that I'm using is a physical device. I ask a question, the students then provide their answer by inputting their response on the physical device. There are other alternatives, online versions, where students can either use their cell phone or a laptop.
The students are using learning catalytics in my class in order to help them kind of self-assess during the lecture, but also in order to make the lecture a little bit more interesting and interactive.
I'm a big proponent of using audience response systems in my courses. I use them for all topics. I pretty much have questions every day. I use them both for conceptual questions and for quantitative questions. I do, on occasion, even use them for free response questions with a particular device that I have.
I use it for two purposes. One purpose is to reinforce what I just taught. The other purpose is to check whether they read a bit through previous lecture notes.
Really enjoy using the Nearpod because it has a number of different features. We can do pretty straightforward clicker style questions with multiple choices. We can do Likert style questions of understanding, and also it has an option to do some drawing.
Well, so I like it because I can actually tell what the students are understanding in real time. If there's some sort of misunderstanding, I'll be able to see the results and say, oh, well, maybe we should go back and talk about that a little bit more.
I also get an opportunity to find out what their prior knowledge is. So for example, if I'm covering a topic where I'm expecting them to have some prior knowledge, I can ask a question and use that to find out if they actually have that prior knowledge. Otherwise, I might need to do some additional review.
One of the big benefits of having a setup system like Nearpod or a browser-based response system is that I can share the findings of the students back to the students so they can see sort of where they fall in terms of the scale of the whole class.
The literature in education recommends to actually break your lecture time in shorter mini lectures, and I think clickers represent a great way to do this.
I feel like attendance is up, more students come to the lecture because they know, first of all, it's going to be a little bit more interesting and interactive, but also they know that I'm counting their attendance and participation. But I also see it in my course evaluations at the end of the term. More often than not, they give a positive feedback to learning catalytics, and they say that they like being able to test their knowledge during lecture. They feel like it helps them understand the topics a little bit more deeply.
They are very engaged. Every term we get positive evaluations in terms of clickers, kept me awake, gave me a reason to read a bit the notes before lecture such that I'm prepared to answer the question. It's like when you watch a football game or a baseball game and everybody gets excited if their team scores. It's the same with the students. So for them it was really a game and they really enjoyed participating in it.
One of the big challenges that I had, or certainly one of the big concerns I had, was how I was going to distribute and collect 200 devices every day when there are only 10 minutes in between class switchovers. By having my own set, I'm able to get around some of the logistical issues that we see with some of the other devices.
So for me, I actually tried a lot of different software, a lot of different web-based systems, and the issue was actually really kind of dealing with the vendors and figuring out what was going to work best for my class. The vendor is really very helpful with helping us design questions and format things so that it's not so much work up front.
While there might be a little resistance at the beginning because some students like to sit back and are used to a more passive learning style, once they really start discussing, then they actually stay engaged for that entire class period. Just try it at any sort of scale, right? Just try to get in and even get just small exposure early on, and then you can build up to larger lessons. So starting off with just little bouts of interaction, maybe put out a question, have the students talk to each other for a little bit, and then report back their answer. Even just little bits of that will start to get them used to this discussion-based classroom.
There are a large number of response systems available. Each one has their own particular advantages and disadvantages. I would recommend that you think about what you want to get out of these devices. You want to figure out what kind of questions you might ask, what information you're going to need, what logistics are important. And once you have a feeling for that, then take a look at the different options and see which system matches best with your specific needs.